This is 6.1, multiplying and dividing rationals. Before we start with multiplying, we need to understand how to simplify rationals. So I have a few easy ones up here at the top. If I were just to have a fraction, I can simplify that, and I just ask myself what goes into 22 and 14. So we know that 2 goes into 22 11 times, and 2 goes into 14 7 times. So then I simplify, right? So then I rewrite as one fraction, and that's what I have left. Okay, so number 2, we incorporate variables. If I have variables, I can cancel out 1 from the numerator and 1 from the denominator as long as they're exactly the same. So x and x cancel as well, and then I cannot cancel anything else because this factor of x plus 1 is not the same as these two. So my final answer for this is x plus 1 over x squared. 3 is very similar to number 2. Here we simplify. It's just not expanded out like it was in 2. So all my x's cancel up top with 2 of the 4 x's right here. So I mark out the exponent and change that to a 2. Whenever I write my fraction, if everything cancels in the numerator or the denominator, it becomes 1, and then I'm left with x squared on the bottom. Okay, and then 4 and 5 have a combination of both numbers and variables. So I'll do 10 and 4 first. So 2 goes into 10 5 times, 2 goes into 4 2 times. And then I can cancel out these x's because they're exactly the same. So my final answer for this is 5 over 2. And then number 5, I can do 11 goes into 33 3 times, 11 goes into 11 1 time, and then here I have x cubed divided by x, so this x cancels, and that cube changes to a 2. So my final answer is 3x squared over 1, or simply 3x squared. Okay. I'm going to kind of skip down here. What I want you guys to understand about term versus factor. Okay, a term is separated by the plus and minus signs. Okay, factors are separated by the multiplication and division signs. Okay, so here are some examples. If I have the expression 4x squared plus 3x minus 10, I have 3 factors here separated by the plus and the minus. So, 3 terms. So here's a term, there's a term, and there's a term. So I have 3 terms in that example separated by plus or minus signs. Factors are separated by multiplication or division. So most commonly you'll see like 2x times x plus 1 times x minus 6. Okay, here I have 4 factors because it's all separated by multiplication. So 2 times x plus 1 times x plus 6. So I have 4 factors, a 2, an x plus 1, and an x minus 6. These 2 are the hardest to understand. This entire thing inside parentheses is a factor. This entire thing inside parentheses is also a factor, so keep that in mind. All right, so when we're solving or simplifying rational expressions, there's going to be 3 steps. Okay, first we're going to factor if possible. Then we're going to simplify. Okay, and when we simplify, we can only simplify factors, not terms. So I'm going to put factors right here. And then we're just going to write as one fraction. Okay, so I have some examples down here. The only thing that needs to be factored is in 9 and 10. So that's the first step. We look at 7, Does anything need to be factored? No. Then we're going to simplify. So we have factors. So I'm going to underline all my factors. X plus 10 is a factor. X minus 4 is a factor. 5 is a factor. X is a factor, and X minus 4 is a factor. So when we're canceling, we're looking at all factors because all these are multiplied together, and we're looking at what can I cancel that is the exact same. So right here, this is one thing. You have to see X minus 4 as one thing, X minus 4. So this is an identical factor, one in the numerator, one in the denominator. So now I cannot cancel anything else out, so my final answer is X plus 10 divided by 5X. If you would like to keep the parentheses, you can. You don't have to write them, but we have to see this as one factor. Cannot be simplified with these two factors. Okay, so 8, we do the same thing. We have 4 factors. I'll highlight them. X plus 8, X minus 2, X minus 2, X minus 15. So we have to look at everything inside the parentheses as the factor. Okay, so what's identical factors? The X minus 2. So I can cancel those out, and then I'm done. I just rewrite as one fraction by itself. Okay, again, you don't have to write the parentheses, but if you would like, you can. All right, number 9. Before we get started, we do have to factor this part right here. Okay, so this becomes a factor of 2 times x plus 12. So 2x plus 24 factors to 2 times x plus 12. So now, again, I have 1, 2 factors up top, 1, 2, 3 factors on bottom now. Okay, so no longer am I dealing with this right here because I just factored it. So I look for identical things. X minus 2 and X minus 2 are identical. X plus 12 and X plus 12 are identical. Okay, so I cannot cancel anything else out. When everything cancels in the numerator, it becomes 1. And then I have a 2 left over in the denominator, so my answer here is 1/2, simplified answer. For 10, I will rewrite this fraction. The numerator factors to become 2 times x minus 4. The denominator is the difference of 2 perfect squares. So we have x minus 4 times x plus 4. And now I have 4 total factors. 2, x minus 4, x minus 4, and x plus 4. So I look to see what cancels. What simplifies is the x minus 4. And so then I'm left with 2 over x plus 4 as my simplified answer. On the back side, okay, I'll work out a couple examples. I'll work out number 12, number 13, and we'll do number 18. Okay, so here I'm going to highlight what I can factor. For number 12, those are the things that I can factor. For number 13, I can factor both numerator and denominator. And then for number 18, also numerator and denominator. So I will factor, and I'm going to rewrite the rational factored. So I have this x, don't need to do anything to that. Numerator, difference of squares, becomes x minus 5 times x plus 5. The denominator down here has a GCF of 2x cubed. So we go ahead and pull that out, and then I'm left with x plus 5. Okay, so how many factors do I have here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I look at things that are alike. The easiest thing right here is x plus 5 and x plus 5. Those cancel. But then I also have this x and x cubed. So this x cancels, and this 3 changes to a 2. So the cube changes to a square. And so then I'm done. My final answer is x minus 5 over 2x squared. I cannot simplify anymore. If you'd like to, again, keep the parentheses, you can. For number 13, the numerator factors, we can have a GCF of x, so it factors to x times x plus 4. The denominator has a GCF of x squared, and then it factors to become x plus 4. Okay, so then, again, I look for things that I can cancel. This x cancels with one of these x's, so the square goes away. You can write a 1 if you would like. And then the x plus 4 cancels with the x plus 4. So my final answer, everything cancels in the numerator. It's a 1. And then x is the only thing left in the denominator. Okay. And then number 18, I do need to factor the numerator. Okay, so if I use rooftop, 1 times negative 12 is negative 12. Two numbers that multiply to get me negative 12 that also get me to negative 4 are 2 and 6. The 6 has to be negative. So I have x plus 2, x minus 6 as the numerator. And then for the denominator, same process, rooftop, 2 times negative 6 is also negative 12. Two numbers that multiply to give me negative 12, that'll give me a positive 1, are 3 and 4. The 3 has to be negative. Okay, so whenever I do this, remember, I'm gonna kind of do this off to the side. I have 2x times negative 3, or sorry, 2x minus 3, and then 2x plus 4. Okay, rooftop method, and then I can divide a 2 right here. So I have 2x minus 3, and then if I divide a 2 right there, that gives me x plus 2. Okay, and so then I look and I can simplify the x plus 2's, and then I'm left with x minus 6 over 2x minus 3, and I'm done. Again, if you need the parentheses to verify that you cannot cancel those factors, then go ahead and put the parentheses in.